Getty Images, Queen Elizabeth is in the history books as the longest-reigning British monarch. She's also in the tabloids fairly often. Below, check out 5 wrong rumors Gossip Cop has corrected about the leader of the royal family. The tabloid claimed she held a series of crisis meetings with her staff about stepping down. Last November, New Idea announced Queen Elizabeth's retirement. It was alleged, however, that she was nervous about handing the reins to Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla, so she planned to hand the keys of the kingdom to her grandson and his wife. At this stage, the Queen is planning a Christmas coronation for William and Kate. Preparations are afoot to announce their rise to the throne by the end of December, a so-called top palace source was quoted as saying. Of course, as Gossip Cop said at the time, if there really were such plans for a succession within the following month, it would have been major international news. But this narrative was unique to the magazine because it was made up. And sure enough, Christmas came and went without the Queen's retirement. The National Enquirer tried its own hand at a succession storyline with a cover story in March that alleged Queen Elizabeth was going to abdicate the throne in favor of Prince William and Kate Middleton taking charge. It was specifically claimed a coup was underway to ensure Prince Charles would not become king. It was further said the Queen would spend her final days advising her grandson and his wife in their new demanding roles as King and Queen. The outlet added that the formal announcement would come in the summer. On the contrary, just a month after this tall tale was peddled, Queen Elizabeth formally endorsed Prince Charles to one day succeed her as the head of the Commonwealth. That hasn't happened. Just like Gossip Cop said it wouldn't. In June, weeks after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding, Star claimed a calculating Queen Elizabeth forced Harry and Meghan to sign an ironclad prenup to protect the royal family's $500 million fortune right before they walked down the aisle. An untraceable insider insisted, Harry's hands were tied and he had no choice but to cave in, and so did Meghan. When Her Majesty gives an order, Harry has to obey. It was asserted the Queen was motivated to be extra careful about keeping the royal assets intact because Markle had been divorced before. But as Gossip Cop said at the time, the divorced Prince Charles and Camilla didn't need to get a prenup when they tied the knot. In fact, it was known months before the wedding that Prince Harry and Markle wouldn't have a prenup, either. The Queen didn't force one just moments before they said I do. That same month, OK. Told readers Middleton was turning Queen Elizabeth against Markle. A purported royal insider claimed the new sisters-in-law weren't seeing eye to eye, and that Middleton even told Queen Elizabeth as much. It supposedly led to the pair cold-shouldering Markle at a palace breakfast. She's taking Kate's side in all of this, the unnamed source said of the Queen. But it was never clear what all of this was, or why Markle and Middleton allegedly weren't able to see eye to eye. And while the publication maintained Kate has the Queen in her corner, the reality was that Markle did, and does, too. In fact, as Gossip Cop noted, this phony storyline was published right before Markle and Queen Elizabeth were about to head out on a day-long outing together. Something that multiple outlets reported was happening much faster than it did with the Queen and Middleton. Clearly, Queen Elizabeth wasn't against Markle at all. Most recently, Globe ran a cover story just days ago that claimed Queen Elizabeth collapsed in public with grief and shock upon learning husband Prince Philip was supposedly diagnosed with cancer and had only 90 days to live. She fell forwards in a heap. An unidentifiable palace courtier was quoted as saying. Elizabeth gasped, and simply fainted. To substantiate these allegations, the tabloid featured undated photos of Queen Elizabeth in which she appeared to be falling over. What the magazine purposefully didn't admit was that the pictures were from the Queen's state visit to Ireland in 2011. Opposed to collapsing, she was actually bending over to help plant a tree. Through digital editing, the outlet photoshopped a shovel out of Queen Elizabeth's hand and stripped the photos of their proper context. As Gossip Cop exposed, the publication had no real proof of the Queen collapsing because it never happened. Queen Elizabeth may not seem like the typical tabloid target, particularly since there's nothing especially salacious about her or her life. But her grandsons' respective marriages, as well as the success of The Crown, have certainly increased interest in the 92-year-old. Some in the gossip media try to exploit that with bogus stories. Gossip Cop, on the other hand, remains committed to separating fact from fiction about her and the rest of the royal family as necessary.